Hi there, good afternoon to you. I'm Eric Chilton here with Stacey Spivey and Lauren Coleman. It is Friday.
Friday, our favorite day of the week, and I bet it is for you too. Welcome, whether you're watching at home, Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFNY News 2 app.
We'll get to the latest on your local headlines and forecasts before we warm up for the weekend.
But first, we have some big news to talk about. Russian forces continue to advance on Ukraine's capital.
Ukrainian officials are calling on the U.S. and NATO allies to take tougher actions against Russia. President Joe Biden spoke with Ukraine's president on the phone for more than 30 minutes today. The U.S. is moving forward with sanctions on Russia's Vladimir Putin. There is also pressure to cut off Russia from the international banking system known as SWIFT. The U.S. and France are already signaling for their support.
Whatever we can do to escalate that price, I think will improve the chances of bringing this conflict to an end rather than seeing it prolonged for years.
An additional 7,000 U.S. troops will deploy to Germany in the coming days, joining the 7,000 already deployed.
The United States will defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of American power. Your presence here, alongside the Canadian-led enhanced forward presence and our Latvian allies, demonstrate that NATO is more united, more determined than ever.
Thursday was the first day of fighting in Ukraine. The country's president says 137 people died and the casualties continue.
The Ukrainian Association of North Carolina says a 2016 survey found that over 19,000 Ukrainians live in our state. And as Russia invades the country, more Ukrainians will be coming to seek refuge here. For those that already live here, watching what's happening overseas is making them uneasy.
Thinking about my wife doesn't know it, but I think about to go over there if I need it. This is just feeling. It's very difficult to explain.
This is not easy to say, but if needed, yes.
Why is that so important?
Family. I'm sure every man, every single man in the world will protect family.
It's heartbreaking. Folks across our state have shown their support for Ukraine. This right here is video from Raleigh where people gathered yesterday. Other North Carolinians, are offering their support from overseas. 3,000 soldiers from Fort Bragg are deployed to Europe. They are assisting allies in the Ukrainian crisis. The troops' loved ones are now left to watch and wait with little to no communication.
I've gotten a lot of advice to not listen to the news. We watch movies, we bake cookies. It's just a lot of trying to stay active so that we don't have time to think about the deployment.
For now, much of the troops from Fort Bragg are deployed to Poland, where they're training alongside the allies.
While the threat of physical Russian attacks looms in Ukraine and Europe, here at home there are fears of cyber attacks. Russian cyber attacks are already impacting our military and intelligence communities. Alicia, Nieves tells you how you can protect your devices.
With our intel community, our DoD communities, making sure and looking to make sure that we are secure and looking at those worst cases if there's a proliferation or if there continues to be an escalation.
For everyone else at home, is it imperative we change all our passwords? Walsh says not necessarily.
If you're already using strong passwords, that's part of the overall practices that you have. But it's one of about a dozen, right?
Patching your networks, avoiding public Wi-Fi, and setting up firewalls or antivirus software will add an extra layer of protection. And when reading news about the invasion online, try to avoid falling for misinformation. You can make sure what you're seeing is real by verifying it's from a reputable source.
If we're talking major broadcast networks, if you're getting your news from TikTok or getting your news from online type of stuff, you're probably in the wrong place.
Aside from threats of cyber attacks, you can also expect prices to rise at the grocery store as global food supplies are impacted. And something you're probably already dealing with, those rising gas prices. The national average is up 24 cents in just the past month, and prices are expected to go higher. Russia is one of the world's top oil suppliers, but if other oil-rich nations ramp up production, experts say we could see gas prices stabilize. So we're hoping for.
I don't even want to think about them getting higher. They're already high enough. The other day I was pumping my gas and I usually just, drive along and just pump, don't even think twice about it. But I looked up and it said $40. That's almost double what I usually pay.
I have an
That's
SUV,
crazy.
and mine is because they hold more. I mean, they have bigger tanks, right? I don't know, I think mine's a 17 or 18 gallon thing, and it was $53. And I was like, no.
Mine was about the same.
I looked at, I was just looking at this ahead of this discussion, a list of gas prices back over the years. In 2009, in January of 2009, the average national gas price was $1.78.
Wow.
In 2009, you know, I thought you'd have to go back decades to see that, but so we can get better. That's horrible.
Fingers crossed, because I mean, we're already struggling enough with everything in general rising. So
I mean, just think about this summer too. I'm sure a lot of people for the first time in 2 years were excited to go on road trips and everything, and with those gas prices, it might not be possible.
Might want to stay put for a while. Well, the CDC is meeting now to discuss masking guidelines. Right now, they recommend people in 95% of the U.S. wear masks indoors. We don't know what exact changes will be announced, but the agency is expected to drop its indoor mask recommendation. The vast majority of Americans no longer live in areas where indoor masking is required.
The Guilford County School Board decided its schools would go mask optional on Monday. With a teacher workday on Tuesday, students have been able to decide whether or not they want to wear a mask for 3 days now. So we went to Page High School to check in on how it's going. Page principal Eric Nagley says it's great to see students' faces again. And students say things are starting to feel normal again.
With each day, people kind of are able to just feel a little bit more comfortable. It definitely takes some getting used to, and once you get used to it, it kind of gives you flashes to back what it used to be, you know, so it's nice.
Last night, the Montgomery County School Board voted to drop its mask requirement. Lexington City Schools is the only district in the Triad that hasn't adopted some kind of mask optional policy.
Guilford County commissioners lifted the countywide mask mandate last week, but individual businesses can still decide to require masks. Scuppernong Books in downtown Greensboro is still asking customers to wear a mask, but with improving COVID metrics, the bookstore says they're bringing back indoor seating. It's coming back March 1st, but again, masks will still be required.
I asked you on my Facebook page how these changes will change things for you. Melita says, I will continue to do what I've been doing for the past 2 years. Johnny writes, I don't have a lot of confidence in the CDC anymore. I will look after myself. And this one from Edgar, I wish I could show you the GIF that he posted. It's of Snoopy in Woodstock jumping up and down with the words, yay and happy dance. And Joy will stick to wearing a mask. This won't change anything at all for Dwayne. And Joanne says she will still wear a mask. So the majority of the people, and I saw even before I came out here, more people were commenting and they were still saying they're going to be wearing a mask.
So I keep several in the car just in case, because you know the businesses I guess can still say if they want you to wear that or not. But the other day, so I went into the grocery store and I did not bring the mask because I had been in this store before and it said, you know, they took all of their signs down. But I walked in and I was the only one not wearing a mask.
Wow.
And then I had mask guilt. So I literally went back to my car to get the mask because I felt like everybody was looking at me, even though they said I didn't have to wear it.
I had a similar situation, but it was the opposite. So I usually wear my mask when I go to like the grocery store in different places with people that I don't know. So I went to an event and I had my mask on, but then everyone had their mask off. And I just had this like ongoing thing in my head, like, do I take it off? Do I take it on?
It's a weird feeling.
Oof.
Yeah, when I traveled back home to Arkansas this past weekend, I mean, nobody had them on anywhere I went. And I mean, they haven't had a mandate for a while now, and their numbers are a lot lower than ours, but it was just so weird. I felt very uncomfortable, even though I know I'm most likely going to be safe, boosted and everything, but it's just a weird feeling and something that we're really going to have to get used to in the coming months and, you know, probably years too.
It's like true. Everybody looks at you like this if you're the only one wearing one.
That's what
or
I
the only one not wearing one.
Yeah.
I literally walked in, act like I looked at some lemons, and then went back out to my car and got
then
my
you were
mask.
Like, all right. Hey, everybody.
Like that Eric Chilton, he didn't have his mask
That's exactly
on.
right. It's exactly right.
All right, COVID numbers are really improving across the board. Just look at the big decrease in hospitalizations. The state is now reporting 1,861 North Carolinians in the hospital with the virus. It's 124 fewer patients than yesterday. So the number now in line with what the state was reporting 2 months ago during the holidays. We're in a much better place now because our numbers are quickly dropping. Back then, they were going up quickly.
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. President Joe Biden picked federal appeals court judge Ketanji Brown Jackson as his nominee for the Supreme Court. She is the first black woman ever nominated to the nation's highest court. The 51-year-old judge is a Harvard Law School graduate. She was a law clerk for Justice Stephen Breyer, the man she will now replace if confirmed. North Carolina U.S. Senator Tom Tillis says he will treat Judge Jackson with fairness and civility during the confirmation process. Well, tomorrow marks 10 years since 17-year-old Trayvon Martin was shot and killed in a Florida neighborhood. He was on his way home when officials say Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman shot him. Zimmerman was found not guilty of second-degree murder in 2013. The shooting was seen as a turning point, though, for how Americans confront the death of young black men and women. Martin's mother now stands with other mothers fighting racism and gun violence. U.S. researchers say for the first time, a woman is in remission for HIV. The unidentified New York patient who had leukemia was possibly cured using a cutting-edge stem cell transplant method. The stem cells were transplanted from an umbilical cord, and even 14 months after she stopped her HIV treatment, researchers were still unable to detect the virus in her blood. They say she is the third person whose blood no longer contains any traces of the virus after undergoing experimental treatments. Well, Cone Health is loosening visitor restrictions at 5 of its hospitals starting February 28th. People ages 12 to 18 can visit patients. 2 people can visit adult patients a day, and 1 person may visit patients with COVID-19. Officials say masks will still be required at all Cone Health locations. There are no changes, however, to visitor restrictions at the women's and children's centers.
All right, let's talk about things for today. We mentioned that temperatures will be on the mild side today, and this is comfortable, you know, a little cool, but not bad. 65 in Greensboro, 67 High Point, 68 in Winston-Salem. If we head back up to higher elevations, Boone's at 50 and Galax there at 53. Hey, for tonight, partly cloudy skies, not as cold. We could possibly see an isolated shower as we head into tomorrow, but this is kind of an overnight toward early morning hour situation. But the high tomorrow, vastly different than where it has been, at least for today. Will only be at 49 for your Saturday with some slow clearing. Sunday, another system will move by with morning rain, we think. That's a 52-degree high temperature. Not looking for a lot of rain on Saturday, by the way. And next week, the gradual warm up back to the 60s with sunny to partly cloudy skies.
There are questions across the country and here at home about whether the justice system is working as intended. But the Guilford County Association of Black Lawyers has a vision to bridge the gap between mistrust in the legal system and the community.
WFMY News 2's Tracy McCain talked with the group's vice president, Judge Laura Cubbage, about the program and how their plan starts with our youth.
We need to get kids involved, get our youth involved, especially at a young age. So this initiative is to shadow a lawyer for a day. And we're trying to encourage them to participate. If there's things about a situation or a system or an atmosphere that you want to change, then the best way to do that is to get involved.
So it's not necessarily just about inspiring the next generation of lawyers, it's also teaching how the criminal justice system works.
Yes, exactly. Let's help our youth to understand exactly what we do on a day-to-day basis and how things work. You know, how lawyers make decisions, how judges make decisions, how DAs make decisions.
What's one of the misconceptions that you hope this mentorship program erases?
That we're really all here working for the greater good. And I think that if they can see how things work and understand the dynamics of how decisions are made, they will begin to understand more that it is an intricate balance of protecting constitutional rights and protecting the safety of society.
I think that's, I look at this and they're talking about shadowing the lawyer. I would even like to do that.
Yeah, you were like, is this just for kids?
I know, because I think, and I have a lot of friends that are lawyers, and when we get into conversations and they explain to me how the process works and what their jobs are like, it's fascinating.
You know, the saying, if you know better, you do better. I think that exposure is so important at a young age or even now, because when you understand how it works, you're able to come up with solutions to fix the things that you think are not working or you're not happy with.
It's true.
Something that I loved about my high school was when you were in 10th grade, grade, you were able to go and shadow someone for a day. Whatever career you wanted to do, and I actually did an attorney. Why? I don't know. I guess I wanted to be the next Elle Woods, but it was just neat to like spend a day with someone in their career and see how it goes. And so I think that this is just going to be fantastic for kids.
I think people forget that, you know, think about how much law there is. Have you ever looked at the law books? Like, I can't even imagine being responsible.
A lot of it goes over my head.
Oh,
like
yeah,
when we're doing
me
certain
too.
stories, I got to call up a lawyer I know and be like, can you break this down
What
for
does this
me?
mean?
You know.
We'll figure that out. You watch this commercial and we'll be right back.
An NC State football star is turning his passion into purpose. Hampton Billups set out to raise money for Hodgkin's lymphoma research after his sister was diagnosed with the disease back in 2018. I caught up with him to find out what his organization, Pigskin for Hodgkin's, is all about. Hampton Billups and his family have a close bond. But 4 years ago, he says the strength of their connection was tested when his little sister Carly was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Obviously, this is a diagnosis that rocks any family. And so we immediately went into trying to figure out what the best options for her were.
Today, Carly is cancer-free and is now thriving at Appalachian State University. The thought of other families battling childhood cancer made Hampton want to give back. That's when Pigskin for Hodgkin's was born.
Yeah, so each year we do a charity flag football game. And so we'll have two teams that'll be on the field that day. While football is at the center of what we do, it's really an event for the whole family.
The charity game features former high school, college, and professional athletes. In just 3 years, Pigskin for Hodgkin's has raised just over $25,000. The proceeds are given to childhood cancer support organizations like Arts for Life.
Our mission is to bring joy and light and really an opportunity for expression and an outlet to kids and families during a really difficult time.
I was just looking back at some of the pictures of Carly while she was doing treatment and doing arts and crafts, and they do a great job of allowing kids to be kids.
As Pigskin for Hodgkin's prepares for year 4 of its annual flag football event, Hampton hopes the community will continue to give what it can.
I know what it took to get our family across the finish line. And so it's the families that I may never meet them, I may never know them by name, but knowing that we can make a small impact on their lives is what keeps me going.
Pigskin for Hodgkin's 4th annual charity flag football game will be March 26 at Northwest Guilford High School. For details on how to give, you can visit our website, WFNYnews2.com. Now, isn't this awesome?
It is awesome.
So fun.
Well, flag football's a blast anyway, so just to go, I would like to go just to watch the teams and then make a donation, because people get excited when they're playing sports anyway, but when you're doing it for a cause, it's a whole different thing.
Absolutely. And he did say it's for the whole family. They're going to have games, they're going to have raffle prizes, some music, food, and things like that. And they're just asking for you to at least bring $1 at the door.
Wow, I didn't realize this was only in its 4th year. I remember us talking about it last year and how incredible it is and how much money it raised. So it's great that he's doing this. I love the name too. That's so cute and creative.
Hodgkin's, definitely.
Yeah.
I just love it when people take their passion and they turn it into purpose. So.
When you're dealing with children too, that's different. You know, I volunteered at a children's hospital in Tampa for a while when I lived down there, and you talk about some sobering lessons in life by talking to kids that have sometimes chronic, sometimes terminal illnesses. It is something else. So do something for the kids.
Absolutely. Details on our website. We'll be right back.
Well, we can say goodbye to the mild weather for at least another day or two. Wouldn't you know that the time we get cool will be for Saturday, Sunday, and then next week we warm back up again. Yeah, that's the way it works sometimes. Satellite and radar combination fairly clear over us. We have some cloud cover, nothing major. You can see the frontal boundary, at least one of them, working its way onto the east. Now, watch this scenario as we see the cooler air start to move in for your Saturday. Now, notice one little strip of precipitation here. We don't think that will be here. We'll keep a 20% chance of a sprinkle in if you see that Saturday morning, but otherwise I think we're in good shape. Now Sunday's a different story as we see this to start overstreaming the area. That'll be really across the region. This is Sunday morning at about 10 o'clock. So it'll take us through the better part of the day to get that out of here, maybe even by Sunday evening. That will be a 60% chance of rain. Highs go from 49 Saturday to 52 Sunday. Next week, sunny to partly cloudy every day. 50s Monday, Tuesday, low to mid 60s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
For some people, curiosity is a human superpower. That's what Coach Lamont thinks.
Today on U-Day, he introduces us to an entrepreneur and tells us why curiosity is an important superpower to have.
American entrepreneur and self-made millionaire Mary Ellen Pleasant once said, "Life was meant to be lived and curiosity must be kept alive." The moment we stop becoming curious is the moment we allow the grave to swallow us up. Each day we must keep learning, keep growing, making every effort to become better than we were the day before. See, your greatest competition is not your neighbor, but the person you used to be. God grants us the ability to become our best version of self. But if you are only focused on reliving yesterday, how could today become your greatest advocate? Your life doesn't have to be boxed in. Too many unfortunate people have died at the age of 25, but they weren't buried until 75. Keep curiosity alive. Your life deserves that. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Curiosity. I do think that's a big superpower. I think kids definitely tap into that. They always ask, why? Why, mommy? Why can't I do this? Why? And I think as adults, we shouldn't stop asking why. Like if we see something that we think that should not be happening, we should question it and not just accept it. And I think as journalists, that's what we do every day. We ask why, so we can bring awareness and bring justice to situations.
On a simpler level, when I think about my kids, Tyler, my third oldest son, is the most curious kid I've ever seen. But my wife and I joke, his nickname is Radar, because he's he knows what's going on. He's listening to everything when he's so curious.
You told me like y'all were talking about Mrs. So-and-so and he was like, what did she do?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh,
and then
that's
Leslie
me.
will always go, okay, Radar, go back to watching TV.
That is always me. So I know you haven't seen Encanto yet, but if you've seen it, there's a character and she can hear what everyone's talking about from like a mile away. And I was talking with somebody about how that's the superpower I would want. They're like, oh, really? And I'm like, well, I guess I'm a journalist and it makes sense because I'm always curious. Yeah.
That could go both ways because I don't always want to know what you think about me.
That's exactly right.
I don't want to be like, hey, y'all, and then I leave and hear them like, did you see what she had on?
That's true.
And it happens. It happens.
Her hair
to
is
all
wrong.
Your hair is fabulous.
We're coming back. All right, think about this. Who doesn't love a great deal, especially during all these penny pinching times that we live in? Well, there's one place that always delivers, and this goes back farther than you might think. It kind of shocked me as well. I spoke with Tyson Strandberg and Randall Area with the Junior League about the Bargain Box and its big anniversary. So Randall, I mean, this is, when someone told me 75 years, I said, you have to be kidding. I mean, this history, and you say it even goes back further than that, technically.
It actually does. So we actually opened in the 30s as a Junior League gift shop. And then we shut down a little bit during the war. And then we reopened in 1947 as the Bargain Box. And we've been known as the Bargain Box ever since. And we've only had about 5 locations since that time.
So tell people, for those that aren't familiar, because what is it all about? What do you guys do?
So the Bargain Box is a nonprofit thrift store. We are actually owned by the Junior League of Greensboro. So all of the funds that the Bargain Box raises goes right back into supporting the local community through the Junior League of Greensboro.
What do you think, if you had to list maybe the top 2 or 3 comments that you guys always get? And I think I know what one is, but what is that about the Bargain Box that keeps people coming back?
The merchandise and the way we have the merchandise displayed, and just our history within the local community and how we are so supportive of everything staying within our local community.
So Tyson, tell me, the deals, that's got to be one of the big reasons why people are there in the first place.
Of course, you can find clothes here that you could find anywhere else, and here they may be $5, $20, and so you walk away feeling good about supporting the local community through the Junior League of Greensboro, and also walking away with some great clothes that you found at a really good price. Not to mention the service, because we have some excellent employees here as well.
What do you think, when you look ahead in the future, what do you want the Bargain Box to evolve into?
That's a great question, and we've come so far in these 75 years. I think we're known as a staple in this community, and I would love to see that continue. And what it does is develop the women leaders in our community, and so I would love for it to continue to really live that legacy and support the work we do as an organization as a whole.
Hey guys, thanks so much for the work you're doing, and we'll see you at the Bargain Box.
Thank
you so much.
Okay, where is this place? Because I need to go.
You have to look at my web story, which is going to be, it's actually
do
up
that.
right now, as a matter of fact, if you want to check that out. They have been around a long time. I had no idea it was that long. So my niece is in the Junior League, and she had told me, she goes, yeah, I think it goes back to like World War II. I said, no, it doesn't. It does. It actually goes back to the 1930s. Been around a long time. They have a little bit of a reputation of being able to get some of the nicer quality stuff, not like a typical thrift store. They'll get some serious designers and name brands.
That's what I was about to say. It's some good quality clothes. So on both sides, like if you're going to buy clothes or you're going to drop off clothes, you know they're going to be in good hands.
Yeah, because I hate when I actually spend good money on clothes, because I love clothes. I love fashion. So when I go to a thrift store and I don't get but like $5 or like maybe $10 back for something I spent good money on, I'm like, it just makes me so mad. So it's nice to know that a place appreciates.
They do.
And it's going for a good cause, too.
Absolutely. Helps out the community.
That's what it's all about.
We'll be right back. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton.
I'm Stacy Spivey, and we're here with Lauren Coleman.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 4 to 5 right here on WFNY News 2. You can also watch on Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFNY News 2 app. And we're also on Facebook as well. Lots of places.
But first, this half hour, we want to get to our top story. President Joe Biden held a phone call with Ukraine's president for more than 30 minutes today as enemy forces move closer to the country's capital.
Ukrainian officials are calling the U.S. and NATO allies to take tougher actions against Russia. Natalie Brand has the latest on the invasion.
Blasts shook Kyiv Friday as Russian forces continue to advance on Ukraine's capital. A senior U.S. defense official says the Russians have been slowed down by a resistant Ukrainian military bolstered by citizen volunteers. But new satellite images show a large deployment of Russian ground troops and helicopters in Belarus near Ukraine's borders.
To date, the Ukrainians have been fighting fiercely in many places throughout the country. My sense is they're overwhelming force that in a matter of days, we could see the capital fall.
NATO says it's activating its response force, marking the first time it will be used for collective security. Thousands more U.S. and allied troops make their way to the eastern flank.
There is no doubt about NATO's readiness to protect and defend all allies.
There is also mounting pressure to cut off Russia from the international banking system known as SWIFT, with more Western leaders now signaling support.
We are looking closely at additional options that may apply appropriate pressure to the Russian Federation, to President Putin.
U.S. officials and members of Congress fear that if Putin succeeds in Ukraine, he could set his sights on other former Soviet countries.
No one knows for sure exactly where Mr. Putin's going to stop. And he's not telling us.
The United Nations Security Council met Friday to vote on a resolution condemning Russia's attack on Ukraine.
If you're looking to help Ukrainians fleeing war, there are several charities that you can donate to that are providing life-saving essentials. Nova Ukraine provides clothes, shoes, and medical supplies. Global Empowerment Mission is shipping sleeping bags, generators, and more to refugees. The Red Cross is also helping to provide medical assistance and survival training to those refugees.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. The CDC says most Americans can safely take a break from the mask wearing. The agency is still advising that people, including school children, wear masks where the risk of COVID-19 is high. The new recommendations do not change the requirement to wear masks on public transportation and indoor in airports, train stations, and bus stations. Cone Health is loosening visitor restrictions at 5 of its hospitals. Starting February 28, people ages 12 to 18 can visit patients. 2 people can visit adult patients a day, and 1 person may visit patients with COVID-19. Officials say masks will still be required at all Cone Health locations. There are no changes to visitor restrictions at the Women and Children's Centers. The High Point Rockers and High Point Market Authority are holding a job fair next week. They say it's to get ahead of the upcoming baseball season and spring market. The job fair will be from 3 to 7 p.m. on Tuesday at the Catalyst Club at Truist Point. Open positions include food service, fan experience, video presentation, ticket and merchandise sales, and event operations.
We know that we're lucky to have amazing teachers here in the Triad, but one in our own backyard has been recognized on the national level. Sarah Rimmery chosen to receive one of the highest awards a K-12 math teacher can get, the Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science.
What's the first ingredient?
For 10 years, Sarah Rimmery has been in the classroom teaching math. But before she even earned a degree, she was gathering cousins and friends to play school.
My grandmother was a teacher, and I had lots of teachers that I felt were very influential to me.
The 4th grade teacher at Trindle Elementary credits her past for this passion, the students bringing her back every year.
When they finally get something, that light bulb moment when it goes off and it's finally like, oh, that's what it is. Or when they discover a strategy on their own or how something works on their own, getting to see those little moments is just awesome.
Moments that were often missed during the pandemic. But in the midst of masks and math problems, Rimmery was nominated for a prestigious award, the Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science. She was picked as one of 3 state finalists in December 2020. Earlier this month, she learned she's a national winner.
It's such an honor to win the award. I think in some ways it almost doesn't even feel real after waiting so long to find out.
Rimmery will get a signed letter from the president, a trip to D.C., and $10,000 to spend in whatever way she chooses.
Yes, I teach that number in class and we talk about it in class, and I could put it in 3 different forms, but thinking about it in dollars as a teacher is just wild.
The money a blessing, but Rimmery says it's not why she chose this path. It's been the people before her, the people in her life, the students in her class that have always pushed her to perform and be the best teacher she can be.
That's why I can be here. That's why I can accept this award, because I've worked with a lot of really good people who have pushed me and who I've learned so much from in my 10 years of teaching.
Rimmery was recognized for her achievement at the school board meeting this week, so congratulations to her. Such exciting news, $10,000. I mean, this isn't like a grant or something she has to use in her classroom. This is money that she can spend however she wants, and it is so deserved, and we are so proud of her.
Let's give her and all of our teachers a round of applause, because they do so much for us, and I just don't think that they get enough thanks. They deal with parents, they deal with students, and especially in COVID-19, having to transition to that remote learning and being creative and finding ways to keep students engaged. That was difficult.
And the transition back into the classroom, just as difficult.
I mean, I think of, I guarantee you she'll spend a lot of that money on her class. Again, she'll
I think so too.
Turn right back around.
She said that would probably happen, so.
Because they do already take so much out of their own pocket as it is, so.
Yeah, but it's really cool. So she had to be nominated for this, and then she made the state finals, and then.
That's phenomenal.
All right,
Coming
good job.
back. Stay there. Welcome back. You know, if the Triad's normal haunted attractions maybe just aren't enough for you, then we may have an answer for you. How about a walk through your nightmares, transitioning from one bad dream to another? That's exactly what this newest scary attraction is all about. I spoke with General Manager Gus McPherson about Scream Dreams in Thomasville. Take a look. Well, Gus, anytime there's something haunted and scary around, I love this. Give people an idea of what they can expect when they come for this year.
It's going to be a thrill a minute, I think. We open up in September 1st of this year, and we're very much out of the box kind of thinkers. So we want to really step up the scares with everybody, and I think everybody's gonna enjoy it.
Each year, it seems like everybody's always trying to up the level of intensity of this thing. Is that the goal?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you have to, because the public knows. You know, they expect more.
How do you find people to do this well? I just think of the audition process, and it must be difficult.
For hiring actors, it's a tough situation. I mean, right now during the COVID, it's been tough, but you know, hiring actors and hiring the staff to run it. I mean, you've got to find the right people, because everybody's got to click. I mean, it's an artsy type of atmosphere, which is great. Once it clicks together, it's a really good.
All right, can you give me an example of maybe just one thing, one type of scene or situation that we might experience later this year?
We're trying to go beyond just the pop-out scares and costume characters. We're actually trying to put you in rooms where you're physically change your standing and how you stand and how you your balance and things of that nature. So it kind of take it to another level there. And I think those are the kind of things that we're doing that I think people will stand out.
That separates you from the others, I can tell you that much. Hey, listen, we look forward to this. Thank you for taking time out. Cannot wait.
Thanks for talking with us.
All right, so stop.
Oh, man.
You actually stand those places. So one of the things he said that's interesting with this is you go from nightmare to nightmare, right? From dream to dream. So they want you to feel like you're transitioning to the next dream. So in some cases, the rooms move. And he said, I can't tell you a lot about it, but it throws your balance off and you feel like you're transitioning to another dream.
I love this. This is right up my alley.
Right, yep.
Yes, I went into something kind of similar to this, but some of the people were wax and some of them were real people, so you didn't know what to expect. So someone could be like this, and then they would just like pop out at you. I was jumping on people's backs. It was crazy.
I just don't like when they touch you. Like, you can be standing over there and try to scare you and stuff, but whenever they like come up to you, I'm like, no.
They get close.
I will punch somebody.
I know.
Yeah, that's the thing about working there, because you don't know how some people will react.
Because that's what I do. I'm afraid that I'm just going to go away if somebody tries to do it. I won't go through them. This one looks cool, though.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely need. Okay, this is a 4 to 5 bonding thing that we should do.
No,
you and Stacy?
No.
Okay, we're gonna convince her during the break.
You can take Brad.
We'll be back.
Tasha would go.
Yeah, she would.
Eric.
No. So this weekend is going to be a little chilly, not today, but a perfect time to celebrate National Clam Chowder Day. I mean, think about this. That's that warm soup that you either love or hate, but it made me think about this on Facebook. Tell me your favorite seafood dish, or there are some seafood haters out there. Here's what you had to say. And Gia says, stuffed broiled lobster tail, crab legs with drawn butter. Oh my goodness. Garlic buttered scallops and shrimp scampi with roasted garlic. Or you had me at the first 3 garlic mentions there. Robert was more simple, fried shrimp, period. That's it. Let's look at Tina, who says, crab legs with drawn butter, oysters on the half shell with drawn butter, cocktail sauce and crackers. OMG, I got to get to the beach. See, she talked herself into a trip. And then Kathy here says, hate, hate, hate all seafood. Don't like using the hate word, but I have to make an exception for seafood. Kathy does not like seafood. I love seafood.
I love seafood too.
I do.
I knew it was coming.
So, okay, I'm allergic to shellfish, so I have to be really careful with what I eat sometimes because it makes me very sick. But if I'm gonna eat seafood, it has to be at the beach. Like, I wouldn't just eat fish anywhere other
What about
than
salmon?
on the coast. Sometimes I'm okay with it, sometimes I'm not. I just had it the other night and it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't feel too bad afterwards.
I like
but
it all.
Yeah.
But I like blackened anything, like
Yeah.
blackened tuna, blackened swordfish, all
Oh,
that.
blackened mahi-mahi.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
Every
love
time I
like
go to the beach, I get that.
blackened shrimp tacos,
So
blackened
good.
salmon tacos, all of that kind of stuff.
See,
is
I had
so
to take us
good.
back to food, Lauren. 'Cause that's
Yeah,
what
we
it is.
always got to go back to food on this show, but you didn't bring the samples.
That's right, not this time. I'll get you next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm holding you to it.
No good news from you, but we do have some good news.
Successful surgeries and health recovery start out the week. Barbara Graham Gaither is thankful her husband is home from the hospital and cancer-free. Jackie Kivett is a pancreatic cancer survivor and is celebrating 8 years cancer-free. And Marie Slade thanks God for covering her 5 grandchildren from COVID. Lisa Marie Brooks told us she and her husband purchased a home last week. She said it feels good to be homeowners. The Boy Scouts cleaned up the nature area near Julie Hammondtree's house, and Chandra's son completed his Black History project, and she learned something new too. Martha Lewis is celebrating 48 years of marriage, and Michelle Elaine is expecting twins. She said after a long battle with IVF, her babies are looking great on the ultrasound. Akira Johnson shared great news for any new mom. Her almost 2-month-old baby is starting to sleep through the night. And I'll throw in my bit of good news. My 1-year-old Julian started walking on his first birthday. He's on the move, ready, set, go.
Turn it on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Because hey, hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, when we had to turn the generator on.
Hi, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia.
She says. Oh, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check, 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 check.
I think it's a little bit.
We're having some mic difficulties. If you can hear me, mic check 1. I think we're having a short in the water. Switch mic, so just bear with us one.
So it's time for my 2 cents, and today I want to talk about something that happened while my wife was on her business trip. She's home now, so order is restored to the kingdom. But Drew, my youngest and only girl, had a daddy-daughter dance that we went to at the Elks Lodge, and I don't think I realized how important this was until it actually happened. So let me take you through the journey of that night. So first of all, she got all dolled up. She came downstairs, had her hair done and curls, and she had some makeup and a dress, and I hadn't seen her like that. I'm not sure I've really ever seen all of that at one time. She looked beautiful. So we go to the dance. She was enjoying eating pizza. I had way more fun than I thought I would, and most of the fun had nothing to do with me. It was watching her, right? She's up there dancing with her friends, having a blast, jumping on my back and posing for a quick picture. Just adorable. We even got a chance to dance together, but watching her, even the dance moves, now cracking me up, the dance moves when she was just out there by herself, pulling some old, it looked like she was trying to break dance at one point. I mean, the girl was giving it all she had. But she had a complete blast, even picking out her prize. Every girl got to win a prize. And it made me stop and just think what those moments mean, especially as a dad and a daughter, and this is my only girl. Those are special moments that I will never forget. And when we got home that night and I tucked her in, we talked about it and what fun we had. And nothing meant more to me than she said, "Dad, I had so much fun and I love you so much." Like, I didn't say I love you first. She said it. So I'm telling you as a parent, if you have those moments with your children one-on-one, individually, with all of them, you need to take it, because those moments will never die and they stay in your head forever, and hopefully their hearts as well, and your heart.